Promoting, I'm promoting, I'm
It
promoting.
started.
Oh no, I'm late.
It started. Wait, I also need to ping.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Where is the thing?
7 minutes late. Let's go. Let me just mute the stream too, because I don't like hearing my voice.
Wow. Wait second. Okay. If this stream might be actually shorter than usual, if we take less time.
I mean, as long as around midnight I need to go sleep because I need to wake up at 6 AM. So.
Hi, Miney. How are you guys? You guys are here so early. What the fudge?
I've been saying like 10 minutes ago that the stream is gonna start at some point.
Oh my god. Where is? Okay. I mean, I think my brain's gonna get fried easily because it's like a hard topic, kind of. A lot of information.
Yeah, the skull is hard. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm not feeling super good, so probably not super long stream. Okay. I think I'm just gonna start the video. Are you gonna watch along the stream, or are you just gonna...
The stream has delay, so I'm just gonna play at the same time as you.
Okay. This is Ghost. Okay.
No, you.
Let me make it back to 0. Okay, I'm gonna start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
I hope the stream doesn't crash.
Alright.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza. Happy Halloween. Today we're going to be drawing skulls, and what better day than Halloween to get into those lovely skulls. Now, anyone who's watched much of my content knows that one of my favourite aesthetic shapes and themes is anything to do with skulls. I love skulls, they're really cool, and we're going to break down to the basics today and have a look at some of the things that are good to keep in mind when drawing skulls. So basic sort of anatomical features and things to remember when drawing them, and then also
the music is so loud behind
kind of
voice.
do a few distorted skulls and make some more horrific looking ones.
No,
but the first
music.
thing we do is we look at the basics, and so we have here a few examples that I'm going to draw over. Now, just before I get too into it, I just want to explain the program I'm using. This is called Mischief, and the reason it's quite cool to sketch in is because it's got what's called infinite canvas. So there are no boundaries on the canvas, and I can infinitely zoom in.
Wait, what's happening? For some reason I can't.
Cool because it's vector based. And
I can't. The chat is not.
So if you want to check that out, you can go to madewithmischief.com.
It's not like loading for me.
This drawing, the first
Nice, coolly. I can see it on OBS, but I can't see it on the dashboard. So weird.
Nice green.
Best time part of Sundays here. No, you.
So we have.
Squeeze on the stream, yeah.
And the other eye. These are pretty straightforward.
Oh, okay, now it loaded. Last stream was around 8 PM, so I kept checking.
Perfect circle.
What?
As you can see,
what was it around 8 PM? I usually start around 9 though.
Oval, so it's a bit
I don't need
He's
to
good.
delete this. I can just purge. It's not deleting.
Circular on the right, and then on the left, it goes in like that. And that's because it's a cavity, and the face.
Don't get distracted, Eddie.
On that. So it's interesting. You kind of got to get used to
totally
using shape and have a feel for how these things kind of warp around each other. But it's something to keep in mind.
But the music behind his voice is
side-on skulls, and
annoying.
You'll kind of get a feel as to what it looks like on another angle. Now the nose is broken up into 2 cavities, but we tend to.
I don't think it's too loud. It is a bit distracting though. I did not notice until you told me.
So that there is the nose cavity, and now they'll have these cavities down here. All right, so the main one is this one. This is the opening up of the jaw, and you can actually feel it. If you get your fingers and put them on either side of your cheeks in here, you can feel the edge of your teeth, and if you open and close your jaw,
my
you
cheeks.
can feel that opening on the cavity on the sides there. So that is what that area is. But up here, I've got another cavity, and this is what I believe opens up
my little
to
brothers.
being the ear and all of that. Now, do keep in mind as we go through this tutorial, I don't have any medical training, so I don't know the names of a lot of these anatomical things, and I often might state something wrong.
I know the
but
name
point is,
of
it's
all
about
those parts.
creating a visual portrayal of these things.
I
So,
don't.
okay, so here on the left we have cavities.
I will not
Okay, so
ignore
moving
the
along,
flows.
next,
Just get good.
I'm just going to outline a few key features of the skull that are kind of cool to keep in mind, right? So we're going to start looking at the ridges and
I lost
bits
the
that pop
crying.
out,
No.
as opposed to the cavities, which
Wow,
stick
Felix
in.
deleted it.
So the first
Wow.
is here. We have
Wow,
the
that's
brow.
my age, Felix.
Okay, so it's the fatter bit, both at the top of each eyelid. Okay, now this sticks out, and I'm just going to do this little highlighty mark here to represent the bit that pokes out the most. Okay, next we have this ridge on the top of the nose. Okay, this is you can feel it here. It's what we call the bridge of the nose. That's the unscientific term. And some people have quite a long bridge, which is where we get those long crooked noses from. Some of them have quite a wide bridge. Some of them have an off-center bridge. We get broken noses. But when we're drawing a nose on top of the skull, this is where it originates. It's this bridge of the nose where those nasal cavities come out. We have the cheeks. Okay, now these are quite useful in portraying characters. High cheekbones or really prominent cheekbones tend to portray an either masculine or really drawn, aged sort of character. And then we have down here the chin. I'm just outlining there where it pops out most at the bottom. Okay, so I'm fairly happy with just pointing out those things, and if we move along to our last area, I just want to go into the basic shapes for when we use construction lines and draw our skull. Okay, so the first one, as you can see, the skull is in two parts. We have the top half, which is divided along here, and then we have the jaw on this half. Okay, so the top half, we draw a circle, which is a little elongated. And now when I say a little elongated, I really mean a little. Okay, ugh. I tend to have to redraw a few times to get the line right. Still not right. Oh, the wonderful wonders of Control-Z. Okay, so that's the first shape. Now, if I'm drawing a skull on this angle, I tend to pull out the front from the edge of this circle. So just from here, it goes straight down. Okay, then I tend to square off the end and then bring it up, and I either curve it up like this, just have a round sort of shape, or depending on the character type, if he's got a broad build. Okay, so they're the construction lines, and this is kind of the what do you call it? It's like a faux skull. It's like a fake sort of skull that I can use for the construction base of other drawings. So these are just a few of the things to keep in mind when you're drawing your skulls. You have your cavities to remember. You have your basic ridges, so you have the top of the eyes, you have the cheekbones, which pop out, mostly at the sides more than the front.
I don't get where you're gonna use the nose
sideways.
cavities.
Then we have the bridge of the nose, and then we have the chin.
The nose cavities,
just
I don't know
jutting out.
how
And then
you're
we
gonna
have
use
the
it
basic
on
proportions
other
of the
things than
skull. Okay, so with
skull.
those handled, let's just draw a front on and a side on skull. Okay, so I'm going to come down here.
I mean, I guess
I'll
it's
zoom out a little bit.
stuff like this is
Shortcuts
more
that I'm using
useful
are
in
Z,
realistic
which allows me
drawing
to pull in and out,
for the most
and
part,
then
but
H, which
it's
allows me
good to have
to
as a fundamental, I guess.
nudge along.
I think it's mostly good for shading.
Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to just draw up my basic skull
I'm gonna draw along.
construction lines. Okay,
I'm not gonna draw along, I'm just gonna watch.
Color to a mid-grey.
Need to move all my windows
Actually, I might as
through
well
this,
just use
so
black and just draw lightly.
all my
Okay,
tabs.
bring up the width a little bit. Cool. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is draw a circle. Okay, so I tend to go around a few times just to get the feel of it, and then draw dark lines when the hand is over the right place, when the mouse is over the right place. Okay, and then I want to draw a vertical line straight down the middle of it. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to just draw a few guidelines across here like this, very lightly, so that when I draw my other circle, it's roughly the same size. There we go. Okay. Now, I don't want a middle line on this one because this is going to be a side-facing one. This one's going to be a front-facing one. Okay?
Okay.
So on my front-facing one, I want to just bring in some lines. Now, these are tapered in ever so slightly. Okay? So they're not straight down vertically. They're tapered in very slightly. And then when we have a bottom jaw line set, which I'll put around here, I'm just going to do another light line across here for later. I'm going to taper in from these edges. Okay, so you can see how we've got the square jaw at the bottom and a bit of a drop from here where the ear would go down here. Okay, so that's the basic skull shape. Okay, now for the side on one, I'm just going to go straight down, a line straight down the front. Okay, and then I'm going to draw squared off,
That's too
straight back,
long.
and then up like this. Now, on a side-on skull, it's not a circle. We actually want to elongate the skull. So I'm going to pull it back a bit to about here. Okay, so it's a bit more of an oval. Okay, so we have circle, and then we have oval.
Oval. Yes. You can write. Good job.
Circle,
Wow, what do you mean?
oval. Okay? So with the oval shape, I'm just going to bring the jaw back a little more. Okay, now I'm going to start doing some refining features on this skull. So on the one on the left, I want to draw in the eye line, which will be around where these two lines meet, the dropping of the jaw. Okay, and I'm just going to go straight. I'm just going to bring the jaw back a little more. Okay, now I'm going to start doing some refining features on this skull. So on the one on the left, I want to draw in the eye line, which will be around where these two lines meet.
Oh man.
The dropping of
I guess I'm
the
also
jaw.
not drawing because it
I'm
did not
just gonna
say
go straight
anything.
across like this eye line
Oh,
makes
no.
all the way across. Okay, this is just going to kind of guide me as to where the eyes and the nose goes. So first things first, I'm going to use this crossing section here in the middle to begin the nose. Now I'm
Yes,
just
the
drawing it
nose
as one,
before.
even though it is in
Yeah,
two
so you were
sections,
off
I'm just
for
drawing
longer
this
than I
one
thought.
shape
I didn't
because
hear
tend
you
to
like
having
dying.
it
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Because the that middle bit does break or is a bit
You
too
didn't leave the
much of a
VC,
detail
it's
to
weird.
worry about at times. Okay, now here on the left, it's interesting because all these things are much different. In the front shape, that's what we've got, but on the side, we actually
I
have
thought you
the
were
brow come in
focused.
first, and then we have it inset and then pop out like that. Okay, so that shape will begin and end like this. Okay, it will come in like that. Because when we're drawing the nose, it will actually end up going on top of it like that. Now, as you can see,
Big
that angle is a bit
nose.
steep, so I'm just going to bring that in. Okay. Cool, so I'm happy with that nose line. Next, I'm going to do my eye line. My eye, not my eye line. Done my eye line. Okay, so on the front on view, I'm just going for a slightly squared off oval shape. Now, it's quite hard to draw completely symmetrical, so there will be imbalances. Just keep that in mind. It's quite difficult to have a very symmetrical drawing because our brain really picks up the mistakes. I'm just going to quickly squiggle those in. And as you can see, the front shape is fairly straightforward.
Drawing nose.
Okay, but when we get to a side-on shape, it's a little different. First of all, we have the rounded outside edge. I want to make sure that we're meeting up at the same places, so it's a bit higher. Okay, and then we tuck in. But then instead of rounding it out like that, it actually is going to dip in a little bit, like this. Okay? Because it's flowing with the geometry of the face, and the eye is concaved.
Wait, is that how you say in English? Concaved?
So I'm fairly happy with that line. You can see basically
I don't
what I
know.
mean, though.
That
And
is the
it's,
name
like I
find
said,
it
it's the
very
kind of
cool
thing
to
that comes
this.
with a bit of time and practice and understanding shape and all that stuff. Okay, so the next thing, I'm just going to very lightly draw a line across here like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do
Actually,
is use
this
as a
goes a
guideline
little
for the
bit
cheekbone.
different
So
and more
I'm gonna have
simplified than
a
the
line out here on
other
the edge,
1 hour
pop it
video.
out like that,
I
and
see.
then follow this
Yeah,
line
I
on the
actually
middle.
watched the
Okay,
1
so I'll
hour
just do the
video
same on the
last
other side.
stream.
Have this
Sick.
slightly
Wow.
rounded inner
Cool,
edge,
yes.
then this outer edge,
Hmm?
into the cheekbone. Then when we get to this
Doing
line
stuff
here, just
without
gonna bring
me.
it in,
Wow.
tuck it under.
I
Now at about the
mean,
halfway point, and when I say
it
the
takes
halfway point, I
long
mean
and I'm
between
speed running
the
it
width of the skull.
because
Okay, so we have the
yeah.
halfway point of the skull. Now at the halfway
Who
point
has
of the
time
halfway
these
point,
days? No one got time to do
which
stuff.
translates to being about there, we
Wow.
bring it down. Okay,
Started
We'll do
having
that on either side,
time.
and we're going to round out where the
Starting
teeth go. Okay, so it's actually a bit
Thursday,
more
I
space
think.
down here
Yeah,
for the teeth than
Thursday.
you might be comfortable with.
And now
simply
I'm
because
just
the nose
drawing a
would
lot because
actually
I have a lot of
be
things to
down
do.
here. The nose doesn't end.
I'm not
where
drawing
the nose cavity
anything
ends on the skull.
basically.
So I've got that, and now I'm going to just draw
I'm
my
opening commissions
jaw cavities
this February.
and shade them in.
I see.
It is
Okay, we have the bottom
actually
jaw.
like, yeah.
Down here.
The thing is, like,
Now,
I'm making
to
a
follow this bottom
background
jawline, we're actually
start
going to bring it in a
commission,
bit because
not
this
like
basic
free
outside
because it's
construction work that we've
it's
done,
gonna be my example of
isn't,
kind of
it is a
VTuber
bit more
background.
fleshy than we want because the bones are a bit more bony, ironically. Well, not ironically.
With
that's not
one
ironic at
point
all. I'm not good at
perspective, of
words.
course, because if you do
So I'm
two
just
points
gonna
is kind of weird
Kind of
for a stream
use these little
background.
waves. That doesn't make sense. I'm using these sort of shapes. So we
I'm
go
hoping to
invertedly
make
and then have
to
the
draw
outer edge,
something else.
and then we invert a
Right
little
now
bit
I'm
and
just
we
in
get to the other edge of the
studies.
bone. Okay, so we just kind of
Yeah.
have a bit of movement, these waves.
But I feel like I
Okay.
prefer to not
Now, of
take
course,
on
skulls can change
something
and you can
else
have
right now.
thick, sort of bottoms.
Yeah, I'm
or,
drawing also
everyone has a different
birthday
sort of
art
skull,
for
but we're just
tomorrow
going
and
for a sort
birthday
of
art
medium
for
sort of
men
skull
too,
shape. This
which
could
is
be a
in
boy
2
or a
days,
girl.
but both got delayed
But
because
you can do things to
they
make
are
it
both
appear,
sick,
more masculine
and so
and
the
feminine.
release of the birthday
So we've got the bottom
thingy
half
is all
of the
later,
left
so I
side
have
of the
more
skull.
time.
I'm just going to refine now the bottom side of the right side of the skull. So I'm going to go here to the profile where I'm going to just sketch across this line for the teeth.
And I have another
So we can
birthday in
follow that.
February, which I
And
need to do a full
here at the bottom of the
eyelash,
nose, it
which will be
pops
my
out
last
like this. Okay, so that's
thing
actually
in
where
my
the teeth are
portfolio.
going to go.
Oh.
Now I'm going to do a similar thing here. So notice how I did here, that line under the nose, that just kind of bends down. I'm going to do the
And
same.
then I
It's almost like
open
we have this
commissions.
strip between here and here that we're replicating between here and here. Okay, just very lightly. And I'm going to round out here on this edge inside near the eye, and it comes up into the cheekbone and then bends down into the jaw. Okay, now at the halfway point between this line and this line, we have the teeth begin, and they go quite far back. Okay, and I'm just going to bend this line all the way up and around because that actually follows a bit of the shape within the skull. Now this might not be completely anatomically perfect, but we're getting the idea. Now we have the teeth jut in a bit, and then we have the jaw pop out. Okay, and then similar to how we've got it here, we kind of follow the flow and curvature of the basic sketch that we've drawn. Now, we're going to create the, cavity for the bottom teeth here, like this. And then we have another cavity, which follows out under here.
The music really doesn't match this video.
Skull, just to make sure
Yeah.
I'm keeping things fairly anatomically correct. Okay.
I mean, I know it's Halloween, but it's really not.
Yeah.
There we go. Shade that in, and there are two cavities for
Okay,
the jaw.
I draw a nose.
And now
Look.
I've got the basic
Draw a
shapes of the
nose.
skull done. Up here on the left, you see how on the right I've got this shape here, this line that flows in, and it shows sort of an indentation on the skull. If I were to shade it in lightly, you can see that that's basically what that represents, is a slight indentation.
The
in
other
skull shape.
video is a
So
little
to
bit
represent this on the
more
left, we actually just bring the cheekbones up,
more
almost into a vertical
detailed.
line, so
Yeah.
it doesn't follow the
He
shape
has like
of the
names
round part of the skull.
a little
okay?
bit.
But the round part of the skull is still there. So I'm going to draw that
Yeah,
in.
and it's just 2 flags on the names.
I mean,
See, we
like-
go
they don't
half
tell
side,
you all of them either,
okay?
but
And that shows
yeah,
the
it's a lot more
indentation.
detail,
So I can
especially the
slightly shade
muscle
that in.
part. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a
That.
lot of stuff.
And
So this
also,
means
if we
that
want
when you're
to
gonna
show the
stream,
ridges
and if you
above
draw
the
a skull,
eyes,
you know,
we
you're
can
gonna
just slightly,
say the
do a
names
line,
just to
oops,
flex on
on
stream,
top
you know.
Man.
away
To
from
look
each of these
professional.
eye cavities. Okay, and if you want, you can shade it in and all that, but I'm just going to leave it at that for
It's
now.
just a
Even
bit
if-
necessary though.
Even if it's the wrong name, actually
Like
don't
that.
care because people don't know the names, so
Yeah.
you will
I'm
look
gonna just
professional
draw
either way.
the outside edge of this skull. Okay, so these
I'm actually
are some
sure
simple skulls
my
that we've just drawn.
my
Now, when we get to the
PhD would
teeth,
study
the
the
first
ordinals.
thing that I draw when I draw
Maybe,
teeth
I
are
don't
the two
know.
front center
Do
teeth.
you
Now,
want
they're
them?
always kind of the main
I don't know.
of they're the main 2 teeth that are always kind of there. So I draw the 2 front teeth, and then everything can follow on from that. So same with the side one.
Oh
I'm
no,
just drawing
the
1
teeth.
because it's side one and only 1 shows. Okay, so then next,
Oh look, it's a
you can
bunny.
use your own teeth as reference, really. So the next one is a bit shorter, but it's the same sort of shape, and we just do one of those on either side. Okay, same here on the right. Okay,
No,
next
it's a
one
grandpa.
is a bit more of a fang, isn't it? It points down a little bit more, like this. It's still same at the top. Now, everyone has different teeth, of course. You can do manky ones and all this stuff, but like I said, we're just doing this as the basic sort of guide. And then we start
Everyone
just
has
doing
different
a few randoms,
teeth.
and they thicken
Thank
out
you.
towards the end. They get a bit
That's-
wider, but they're also quite a bit hidden.
I think
So
this was
I
the
tend to
info
not
I
bother
needed
with
the most.
counting teeth because it doesn't
I need to
really
get mine
matter. People
removed
don't
in
care that
7
much unless
days.
you're a dentist and you're really
Ah,
into
so
drawing.
it
in
means
which
you
case,
won't
I
be able to
apologise
talk
for
next week.
insulting the,
No, that's not true.
integrity of
I'm sorry, yes, it is
now, in
true.
drawing the bottom teeth, I tend to just do these little
I'm
semicircles.
only
You wanna make
doing
sure you
one
have
with
that
some teeth.
semicircle line because they don't
I mean,
just
yes,
sit there,
but
they
it's still...
merge into the skull.
Oh, I'm just saying,
And
he has
there
one
we
more
go.
teeth
We've got
upper than down.
Basic skull. Now,
Huh?
this is a
So
bit
it's wrong.
low. I'm
When
just
he
gonna
drew, there
make a
is
few tweaks.
one more
Gonna
teeth
alter
on the
this
up part. On
sort of
the
line
right.
slightly.
Mm-mm.
It's wrong. Sorry, it's wrong.
Okay, I'm just going to shade back here, shade back here, and back here. Okay, cool. Now I am very happy with the result. I hope you get the basic idea, and you can use this method and kind of turn things on an angle. Try drawing them on different angles. You can use this as a reference as you want. If you check out the link in the description, there will be a reference to download this, so you can either use the file in Mischief itself, you can get a free trial on the website, or there will be an image rendered so you can kind of have a look at it and have a bit of a reference if you want to, you know, just have it to look at. And now just over here on the right, I'm just going to draw a bunch of random looking skulls just for the fun of it.
I also want to try to
So I'm going
stylize
to add a
one.
new layer, and let's have a bit of fun with this. So let's begin with our circle shape. Now what happens if we, for the jaw,
I'm gonna
instead
try
of
to
drawing a
make it
properly
super
proportioned jaw, really
square.
draw a small one like that. Just have it pop out, okay? So
Super
you can see
square.
how different the proportions are between this skull and this skull. Okay, so it's going to look really weird. It's going to have a really low eye line, but really big eyes. Okay? And remember having the indentation. Let's have the nose. Let's have the nose quite high and wide. So we can really warp the face, or the skull, I should say. Big ridges. Okay, and then from there we want to make sure the cheekbones, so you can just draw that ridge there like that, have the cheekbones
Square head.
come in and then pop into the teeth shape, going in the halfway line, have them kind of tuck back into the skull, and then going to
You know
have that
that
bottom
by
cavity.
watching, I think I'll level up
And
my
have a
art
really
a
pointy
lot.
jaw.
By watching?
Yeah, I have a very good memory of
Let's
movements and
really
everything.
pull the skull
Mhm.
back and elongate it a bit.
Observation is really good.
Yeah.
Okay, Now,
Really good skill to
this
love.
does look quite conventional, almost looks like a skull caricature. So let's mess with it a little
There
bit
might
more
be a
by
little
doing some
brother
funky
invasion
teeth.
at some
Okay,
point.
so let's just
I
do
hear the noises.
2 small front ones,
How old is your
and
little
the side
boy?
ones, and then let's do
I don't
big
know which one it is.
beastie fang teeth, and then have the bottom ones overlap like this. So we've well and truly got a beast. There we go. Shade in the eyes. The nose. Okay. Make sure we have that back indentation. Fill in the cavities. Okay, so you can see
So this is
that's
golden.
a pretty simple way to warp up a skull. Alright, and well, let's do one more just for funsies. Okay, so let's what do we do for this one? Let's have a really broad one. Let's have this one facing the other way. Let's have a really long jaw, so this is going to come jut out forward. Okay, now my nose, just your regular sort of nose. I'm going to have really wide and low eye holes. Just draw the brow, really broad brow, but don't bother too much with cheekbones. Then we have the teeth. So this one, the bottom teeth are the prominent thing. So we're going to draw the bottom teeth first because they are in front of.
The good thing about teeth is the shapes are easy to draw.
Just
If
draw
you
the
miss
same
shape,
sort
it's
of
alright. It
cavities
can be
as where
just
you
a
have
different
the
shape.
cavities in the other
teeth.
sculptures.
You
The
know.
eyes, the nose, and then under the jaw. Okay. Then let's have a bit more of a square shape than a round shape. Really pop out the jaw here. So I'm going to just stick it out like this. And I'm going to have the edge have a bit of a indentation on the chin. That's how people get the bum chin, having a indented jawbone in the chin area. Alright, and you can see quite simply how we get that sort of cool beastie character skull thing.
No, it's not.
And you know, it'd be fun to kind of draw these, come up with interesting skull shapes, and then draw characters' faces on top of that. See what happens
bottom
if
jaw
you create
that is in front is usually
the construction work of the
a
face,
sign
the
of
skull,
being stupid,
and then
and
put the skin on top of it. You might get some really interesting
iconography.
results. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on skulls, and make sure to leave your feedback in the comment section below if you want to see different art.
That is just promo stuff. Okay. Next video.
Non sono mai
No!
ma sempre me stessa.
Paradox.
Why do you know?
To be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of anatomy. You know, all these muscles and names make me feel like I'm in school. And God knows I didn't got into art so I can read books. I'm a big believer that the planes of the head are gonna be much more useful to artists than all these muscles and bones and shit. So in this video I wanted to talk to you about how the anatomy of the face is going to affect like all these planes. And by the way, I learned all this shit by myself, okay? I'm not a fucking doctor. So if somebody's like, oh, that's actually the brachialis, and the maxillaris, and the macchino, yeah, go read another fucking book. So if you just look at a picture of the muscles of the head, I feel like that's way too confusing and not really that applicable for an artist. So instead, I'm gonna show you all this shit on the
That's not true. It's
on the
easy
planes
to
of
understand.
the head,
Just get
on a
good.
reference, and all the different angles. And it's still not gonna make a lot of sense. And by the way, I got the model for the skull from this website Turbo Squid and the muscles from the Anatomy for Sculptors. And I didn't really ask him if I can use them, but you know, I gave him a little credit over here in the corner, so fingers crossed that I don't get sued. So the first thing that you have to realize is that there's going to be different type of planes. Like some planes will be made out of bone, other planes are made out of muscle, and some planes are just made out of penis. So the most important thing that you have to learn is the difference in planes and how to paint them. It's not just about you knowing the muscles. This is not fucking school, okay? You're not gonna get tested.
Understood.
And everything that I'm talking about in
Draw
this
a
video
penis
completely
on the
came from painting practice.
Man.
As I get better, I might be like, you know what? This is completely fucking wrong. But for now,
on
it
there
still
is
kind of
forehead,
somehow
there is
works.
five
So the
head,
first
and
thing
then
that you
there is
have to be
penis
aware
head.
about,
Okay.
and probably the most important plane in the whole face, is the cheekbone. A lot of people think that the cheekbone is actually this whole thing. They're probably right. But the only part that's actually going to be touching the skin is this part right here. So if you look at the muscles of the face, you can see how only this part is visible. Everything else is just surrounded with muscles. And that basically happens because the cheekbone itself is different type of plane. So you can't just draw it with one big ass plane and be like, yeah, that's the cheekbone. Because you're gonna be fucking wrong. So the plane that we're interested in is this part right here, the side of the cheekbone. And that can usually be found just by doing a curvy line from the corner of the eyebrow to the corner of the jaw. So if you look at all the different references, you just do that curve and you're gonna find that small ass cheekbone. If we look at the profile view, it's pretty much the same. You just do a line and then you can see the side of the cheekbone. Now this is where it gets interesting and super fucking confusing. The cheekbone sort of makes a turn and creates this top plane. Now this top plane is actually going to be covered by this weird eye muscle that looks like a bow sack, but this whole thing right here is going to be the top of the cheekbone. And usually depending on the angle, it's going to be separated right here where the cheekbone is into two different planes. So if you look at the reference, this thing with the blue is going to be one part of the top of the cheekbone and this thing with the green the other. It's kind of the same in the profile. On top you have the blue, right here you have the green. Boom, boom. And when we go to the front view, the cheekbone is going to get even smaller. So because of perspective, the cheekbone is really going to be only this side thing right here. Again, a lot of people draw it like this, but they're completely fucking wrong. So you have the cheekbone on the side, then with the blue you have the top side, and then with green you have the other part. And remember, on the skull there's going to be the weird bow sacks thing sitting, so the eye is going to be way up
Putting
here.
red,
So this
blue,
whole
and green,
thing
I feel
is
like
going to
I'm
be the
washing
planes
at
that I'm
my
talking about. Okay, so far so good. Now the really tricky part
anatomy
is this little
books.
triangle right here. Basically
It's
what
exactly the
that
cause.
is the bottom side of the cheekbone. And why it looks like a triangle is because that's where the cheekbone is ending and the mouth area is starting, and these muscles are going to be going around and almost cutting out like a triangle shape. So it looks like a triangle more than anything in the front view. And then as the head is turning, the triangle is going to get distorted until it actually looks like a point of a knife in the profile view. So if you look at the profile view of the skull, you can clearly see
It's
how the
making a knot for
cheekbone
windows.
has
What
four
the
different
fuck?
planes. Two top ones and two bottom ones. I want to be the bottom one. So these are the four planes that people get wrong
Weird
the
flags,
most. But if you
man.
look at it really closely,
Yeah, weird
it's
flags
actually
and shit.
super simple to find them. So you have the rectangle on the side, the rectangle on the top, this shape on the top, and then you have the triangle sitting here. And again, don't get confused by this whole shape. This is not the cheekbone. This is actually a drop shadow coming from the cheekbone onto the skin itself. So this is bone. This is not. In the front view, you're gonna see a lot more of the triangle, and in the profile view, you're gonna see a lot more of the side bone. And if you understand these four planes, you pretty much have 90% of the drawing. I mean, besides the fact that you actually haven't drawn anything. From here, what you have is a circle for the mouth area. So this whole thing can be kind of represented as a small bow. And what's important is to keep the top of the circle at the wings of the nose. So if you look at the sorrow head, the circle is going to be this. It's not going to be this bigger part where it touches the triangle. So between the circle and the cheekbone, you're gonna have all this space, which is going to be filled with these muscles right here. So these muscles right here are going to be responsible for all your smiling and frowning and fake smirking. Like, I really like your videos. Yeah. So if you do a fake smile like this, you can see this whole meaty piece right here. This is the type of shit I'm talking about. Thank God I got big cheeks so I can explain. So circle for the mouth and then meaty muscles right here. And if you follow these muscles, you're gonna find out that they create a circle that's going to be like the smaller one, only bigger. So one small circle here and then a bigger one touching the triangle. If you look at the profile view, you can see how the mouth is like a half circle, and then you have
His
another half
orange
circle
mustache.
that's going to be cutting out the triangle. This is why the triangle sometimes has this shape. And this is what I said about knowing the difference in planes. So this whole plane right here is going to be like wrinkles and muscles. So you can't shade it the same way that you're gonna shade this plane, which is actually going to be pure bone. So it's not only about you knowing the planes, it's about you knowing how to paint and render them. But I can teach you only one thing at a time. Now connected to all these bones, you have the jaw muscle, this piece right here. This is responsible for all your chewing and opening up your mouth to blah 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 blah. So it's going to be connecting from the cheekbone down to the jawbone.
Yeah, I told you.
But what happens
It's not
is
really
that
family
some of that
friendly, is he?
jawbone is still going to be visible right here in the back. So when you do that curve from the corner of the eyebrow to the corner of the jaw, this plane in the back is going to be the jawbone, and this thing on the other side is going to be the jaw muscle. If you touch your own face, you can see how over here it's bone, and then over here all of a sudden it's muscle. I mean, considering that, you know, you're not 300 pounds. And in the profile view, you can kind of see how this jaw muscle is going to be getting bigger as it comes down. So it's connecting right here, and then right here in the back, you have the piece of the bone. In the front angle, it's going to be a lot more confusing because everything is going to be a lot thinner because of perspective. But this right here is going to be the muscle, and this in the back is going to be the bone. Another thing to pay attention to is whether your model is relaxed or he's clenching his teeth. So if you see a bump right here, that's because the model is actually clenching his teeth, and that's the jaw muscle. And by the way, what a fucking weird word, clenching. It sounds like somebody's doing something weird to your ass. Oh yeah, baby, keep going. Can you just
Man, stop.
So the next plane that we have is this triangle right here. I like to call this the fuckboy plane because if you see any fuckboy in his natural habitat, aka an Instagram selfie, you might see a little separation right here in the cheek. So the separation happens because the cheekbone is ending right here, and then there's shallow place right below it. So this yellow plane right here
I don't think I'm following anymore. I'm just understanding.
Well, I understand all the shape of the things, but I don't understand how to shade them. Like,
this piece right here. And if you look at the front view,
it's like,
you can see that
interesting.
separation and the
How do you
fuckboy
shade
thing
this
that I was
now?
talking about. No wonder this motherfucker plays The Witcher. And the way that I represent that in paintings is just with a really hard edge right here where the cheekbone ends, and then a soft edge below it. And you can clearly see the cheekbone right here, the triangle, and then the triangle in the back. And again, you need to learn
I don't
how
think
to
I can
paint
clearly
this,
see it,
to
but
know
okay.
It needs to look good, not
I
right.
clearly see
Not
it.
a fucking doctor. Then what you have is that the cheekbone over here is going to continue all the way up to the ear. And then you have that weird muscle sitting on the side of the face looking like a weird oyster. So this triangle in the back, the top of it is going to be the cheekbone. And then on top of that, you have a plane that's connecting the forehead and the cheek. So above this plane is the forehead, and below it
Fai parte di quelli che, faccio un modo qui. Sono opportunità che rischi di perdere se ti precludi un
it's the cheekbone. This is where it is in a 3/4 view, this is where it is in a profile view, and this is where it is in a front view. On top of that, touching the corner of the eyebrow, you have the side of the forehead. So it's important not to go too far, like the middle of the forehead, but just stick to the corner of the eyebrow. Then when it comes to the forehead itself, you're gonna have 3 different planes. A middle one, and 2 side ones. The middle one might be a little bit more circular, and these side ones are like rectangles. But it's really important to show them so you show the form of the forehead. Like a lot of people just draw the forehead flat as fuck as if it's like a soccer field. So you have 2 side planes, 2 middle planes, and then 1 center plane. And then right here in the middle, you're gonna see the plane above the nose. The whole area above the eyebrow is actually going to be coming forward. Because if something falls from the sky like bird poop, it doesn't hit your eye, but it actually hits your eyebrow. And I don't particularly agree with the way that the Sorrow Head did it, because I feel like they made it way too big and you look like a fucking mutant. The plane is actually going to be a lot smaller, but it's still important to show that it's going to be coming in front of the eyebrows. And something that a lot of people forget is that the corners of the eyebrows is going to be coming forward as well. So I see a lot of people just draw the forehead not only flat, but they completely combine the forehead with the corner of the eyebrow. What you should do instead is actually have a small triangle right here for the bone of the eyebrow. So right here is the forehead, and then below it you have the plane above the eyebrow. Again, in paintings it's really important to know where to add all the hard edges to show all of the form rather than everything being soft as fuck. Like my dick right now. I'm going to be doing separate tutorials when it comes to the features like the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. But a couple of things to keep in mind is that I always draw the nose with just one big plane over here, one top plane, and just one separate plane for the wing of the nose. There's a lot of super small different planes on the nose right here, but I feel like those are super fucking unnecessary. For the eyebrow area, you have three separate areas, one right here, one in the middle, and one on the side. In the profile view, one in here, one in the middle, and one on the side. When it comes to the chin, I usually like to represent it with a circle. Then you have the plane below the lips,
there is two chins here, it's a double chin.
Of the lips, and then right here with that weird ass. Great, my portrait looks like a 4-year-old kid just grabbed some color pencils. Again, I'm gonna do more tutorials about different parts in the future, but in this one I strictly wanted to talk about the cheekbones and all this shit that people keep messing up, which is pretty much everything. And as I said, this shit happens with practice, so you gotta get your own references and analyze this shit and not just watch weird YouTube tutorials all day, unless it's mine. So I'm gonna include all of these references in the description below. Check them out, you can download them for free. And all of my tutorials are going to be free right here on YouTube, except the naked ones. But if you're interested in some critiques and feedback...
Well, we're not. Broccoli-san. Yay. Okay.
Hey there, my name is Stan Prokopenko. I'm going to be
doing
his
name a
series
lot.
of video tutorials
Such a
on
nice
drawing the head from various angles. Hopefully there'll be some interest and I can continue making more of these for you guys.
You see,
In this first video, I'm going to attempt to summarize and simplify Andrew Loomis's approach to drawing the head. Here we go. If you remove the ear, lips, eyes, and nose from the head, we're left with two simple masses. The first is a ball for the cranium, and the second is a boxy shape for the jaw. The cranium is spherical, but with the sides flattened, so chopping off a slice from both sides of that ball gets us a simplified but close representation of the cranial mass. When drawing the head, I'll start with the circle for the ball. And after a few failed attempts, rip out your hair, take a deep breath, and try again. But seriously, make sure that it looks like a circle and at least the height and width are the same. The oval is a bit more tricky.
I never checked this.
The height will always be the same no matter what angle you're drawing the head from. It's 2/3 the height of the circle. So I'll usually look at the area from the center of the circle to the top and divide that into thirds. And the top third will be where the oval begins. And the same for the bottom. The width of the oval depends on the direction the person is looking. Compare the width of the front plane to the width of the side plane. The top portion of the oval falls on the corner of the forehead. This is where the front plane meets the side plane. This area is usually rounded, so it's open to the artist's interpretation. But I found that it usually lies near the end of the eyebrow. So as I just showed, we indicate the left and right turn of the head by the width of the oval. Now we need to find the up and down tilt. This is indicated by an angle along the side plane. If the head is tilted up, the angle will point up, and if the head is tilted down, the angle will point down. The degree of the tilt will determine how steep to make this line. I like to use the angle from the ear to the brow. From there, I'll continue that line over to the front plane, and since this line represents the brow, pay attention to the angle from one brow to the other. Then draw a curve parallel to the first one, this time starting from the bottom of the oval. This represents the bottom of the nose. Drawing the same line again from the top of the oval would bring you to the hairline. Now, since the face can be broken down into nearly perfect thirds, from chin to nose to brow to hair, we can use the measurements we already found to find the length down to the chin. Observe the general shape of the jaw and draw on the major angles, starting from the brow, coming down to the chin, and going around to the side plane of the head. It's usually about halfway into the oval, or a little bit further back. We've already found the side plane of the cranium. Now we need to do the same thing with the cheek and jaw area. There's a rhythm that starts at the top of the ear and curves down to the outside of the chin. Then find the center line of the face. Remember, this is the center of the front plane, not the center of the whole head width. And finish with the neck. Now that we have the foundation of the head established, we can finish it by putting in all the features. Eyes, nose, lips, ear, hair, jaw, cheeks, chin. Don't worry, I'll explain this step in more detail in another video. Each feature deserves its own tutorial.
Fuck you, I guess.
This approach is really good to establish the perspective of the head.
There's a lot
A good exercise is to try to think about the head as a simple, elongated box.
of anatomy videos.
The angles on the front plane of the face, such as hairline, brow line, nostrils, lips, and chin, will be the same as the angles on the front plane of the box. The
I know
angle
I'll
from the
sleep
brow line to
fast
the ear
tonight.
is the same as the angle on the side plane of the box.
I know I'll
These
fall
angles
asleep
are really
fast
important
tonight.
because they establish the head as a three-dimensional form in space. Let's go through that one more time. Start with a circle for the cranium, oval for the side plane of the head, angle to show the person is looking up or down, draw an identical curve to find the nose, and double that distance to find the chin. Attach the jaw and you have a three-dimensional representation of the head, ready for the features. At first, this approach might seem a bit technical with a lot of important details to remember, but once you get the hang of it, it actually becomes really easy. So get that sketchbook out and practice this 100 times with various angles. Did you like this video? Your friends might too.
Yeah. And
In this
jingle.
episode, we meet our new friend,
Leonardo.
the side view. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2 of the series, click on these video links.
Wait, this is the wrong one.
Gonna get
No,
another ad.
Just like
wait,
the
where is the thing?
The front
Part
view.
2. God damn it. This is too scuffed.
How to draw the head from any angle. Part 2.
If you haven't seen part 1 of this series, click on this
I
video
haven't
link.
seen part 1.
The Loomis method shows its true power in dynamic angles like the 3/4 I demonstrated in part 1. But it still
yeah.
works on
Okay,
flat
easy.
angles like the front and profile. I'll start with that circle for the cranium and chop off the sides. Remember, the height
chop.
of the side planes should be 2/3 of the circle. From the front, you can still see a very thin piece of each side plane, since the front of the head is thinner than the side.
That's
Now
a
let's
problem.
determine whether the person is looking up, down, or straight ahead. A good way to do this is by looking at the distance from ear to brow. If the ear is below the brow, then the person is looking up and the brow line will be above the center of the circle. And the opposite if the ears are above the brow. If they are at the same level, then the person is looking straight ahead and the brow will be in the middle of the circle. Earlier, we established the side plane as 2/3 of the circle. This is important because half of that side plane is 1/3 of the face. So we can take that distance and drop it from the brow to find the bottom of the nose, and again to find the bottom of the chin. Bring it up from the brow to the hairline. Then attach the jaw to the cranium. The sides of the jaw usually get thinner at the bottom. Establish the width of the chin and complete the jaw. Add the center line and the neck. The front view is the only angle when the center line is actually in the center of the head shape. Usually it will be further towards the direction the person is looking. The ears sit in the middle third and usually end at the outside of the original circle. I promise, after I cover all the angles, I will do videos on the features. And done. Let's do that again with a subtle down tilt. start with the cranium, side planes, and the brow line below the center. Before we add the thirds, let's take a little side trip and explore foreshortening. Foreshortening occurs when an object appears compressed when seen from a particular viewpoint, and the effect of perspective causes distortion. This can easily be seen when looking at a flat surface like a book. When looking directly at the book, we see its full length. But if we move to a different angle, perspective distorts its length. As things go further away from us, they appear smaller. See that? That's foreshortening. Applying this concept to the face means that our perfect thirds will now be distorted. The third closest to us, in this case the forehead, will be just about the same as half of the side plane, and the two other thirds will get progressively smaller. Attach the jaw, neck, and centerline. The ears are very important in this case because they help to show the down tilt. Always put them in the bottom half of the oval. And of course, the features. Did you like this video? Your friends might too. Please help.
How to draw the head from any angle, part 3. The side view.
In this episode, we meet our new friend, the side view. If you haven't seen part 1 or
He's
2 of
saying
the
the
series,
side view?
click on
Okay.
these video links.
Fine with the side view.
Just like the front view, the side view is a flat angle. You're looking directly
Front
at
view
the
is
side
easy.
plane of the head. The
Not
process is the
really,
same as
actually.
3/4 and front view, but I'd like to show you an example just to make it even more clear. Start with the ball for the cranium and chop off the side plane. Notice that this time, the side plane is a perfect circle instead of an oval, and it's in the middle of the cranial mass because we're looking directly at it. Now let's indicate this head looking slightly upward with an angle from the ear to the brow. Make sure that this angle is in the center of the side plane, not up here or down here, right in the middle. Establishing the angle from one brow to the other is tricky, since we can only see one side. But just keep in mind that if there is a twist, the angle will follow. Also, notice that the side plane is lower on the cranium when the top of the head is pointing at you, and higher when it is pointing away. I'll go into more depth next week when we do extreme angles. For now, I'll keep it straight and make the brow horizontal. A perpendicular vertical line is helpful on the side plane. We will use it later to find the jaw. It should be close to the angle of the front plane of the face. The curvature of the front plane varies from person to person. Sometimes it will be straight, and sometimes curve out from the forehead to the chin. Also, sometimes the chin will be closer to the back of the head, or protrude out from the face. So pay attention to the angle from forehead to chin, as well as its curvature. From the bottom of the ear, draw that same angle over to the bottom of the nose. Find the hairline and chin using the rule of thirds. Now add the jaw. The cranial mass at the bottom back of the head is actually a bit higher than the perfect ball indicates, so I'll make this little correction. And then add the neck. When someone looks up, the chin goes away from the body and the back of the head gets closer, so we need to show the neck stretching in the front and pinching in the back. Okay, here's a little advice on features. From the side, it's hard to draw the features accurately just by following the contour. I like to observe as many angle relationships as possible. Brow to chin, brow to nose to chin, nose to top lip to bottom lip, and so on. Plotting these points first makes it a lot easier. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you like this video,
Last one.
How to draw the head from extreme angles.
if you haven't seen the first 3 parts of the series, click on one of these video links. In this episode, we go extreme. Extreme angles are usually challenging for people and frequently ignored by artists. But studying the extreme angles will make you better at the more common angles because you'll have a better understanding of the method. To help us visualize the extreme angles, we have a special guest. This is Lumi. Let's start by
Lumi.
talking about the twist, or rotation along the z-axis. This has a few important effects on the head. First, the center line and brow line will be at an angle. Second, the side plane will go down to reveal more of the top of the head, or up to reveal more of the bottom. The ellipse that indicates the side plane will be angled perpendicular to the brow line. This is caused by the ellipse being in perspective. To get the proper angles on the front and side planes, remember that the head can be simplified into a box to visualize the perspective. You can see the same angles throughout the face as on the box. So this is what we have so far. The hard part is over. If you do that part right, adding the jaw should be fairly straightforward. Just observe the major plane changes. The third effect a twist has is on the gesture of the neck. Look for the curve. Try to avoid lollipop necks. The concept of stretch and pinch applies here too.
But I love lollipops.
Now, let's take a look at extreme up and
It's too
down tilts
sweet.
along the x-axis. I always look for the degree of the tilt by observing the angle from ear to
I wanna
brow.
say, but Lumi
Find
is a
the angle of the
lollipop,
brows
so...
and then the third.
Mm?
Remember what we learned
Lumi
in
has
part
a
2 of the series
lollipop
about
neck.
foreshortening. The
Yeah.
thirds will get smaller as they recede from us. So in an up tilt, the bottom third will be about the same as half of the side plane, and the forehead will be fairly small. And the opposite in a down tilt. A confusing area for most people is the shape of the jaw as the head rotates up and down. During this rotation, the relationship of the corners of the jaw and the bottom of the chin will change. As a person looks up, the chin will come up and at one point be in line with the jaw, creating a boxy shape. If you keep going, the shape actually inverts and you get the opposite triangle. In an up tilt, you're also seeing the bottom plane of the jaw, which wraps around the cylindrical neck. This connection of the jaw to the neck is important, so try not to overlook it. As a person looks down, the jaw shape becomes more triangular because the corners of the jaw and the bottom of the chin move away from each other. Another common area of frustration is the tip of the nose. In an extreme up tilt, the tip will be unusually close to the eyes. It's so unusual that most of us feel like we need to move it down to lengthen the nose. Observe the shape of the bottom plane of the nose and compare it to the length of the entire middle third, from brow to bottom of the nose. It's important to remember that the eyes and lips are not flat on the face. They are rounded in their simplest form.
That's scary.
So observe the curvature of these features as they wrap around the eyeball and the tooth cylinder.
It feels like there is a ball in his mouth.
So what would happen if instead of the head rotating up or down, we move the camera above or below the head? When this happens, the side plane rises or drops to reveal more of the top of the head or the bottom of the head, but this time without changing the angle of the center line, since there is no twist. From this angle, the neck will be mostly covered by the head and we just see shoulders. That's it for this episode. Next week, we'll be covering the eyes. I decided to do a little giveaway to help promote this video.
Oh, let's go, let's join the giveaway. It was 10...
This video is old.
Yeah, I can read the Italian saying that it's 10 years ago.
Man.
10 anni fa.
Okay. I'm so tired for some reason.
Yeah, I
But
drew all
yeah,
day, so I can understand.
we should still do like one exercise. I don't have many, to be honest.
What exercise do you want to do?
I mean, just drawing, practicing drawing roomy side constructions from different angles. We just start
Okay.
with circle. Bare circle. There is like that one exercise in which you have like to rotate the head more and more and more in each direction, you know?
Yeah, it's just annoying for nothing.
I mean,
thing is, like, I understand stuff like this. It's just that I'm slow,
I see.
but I get faster with time. But I'm super lazy to train.
Yeah. I'm gonna do one from the front first. But, oh no, I'm not even sure how many we should draw. It's more like I'm gonna draw until I feel I understand, you know.
I think I already understood, but it's alright.
Yeah.
Well, the vacuum started.
Man.
Then it's like, this is the top. This is the nose.
feel so tired already. I always forget to draw the line for the jaw.
What?
I always forget to draw the line for the jaw.
Oh. I was sleepy training so much, I just did one.
I'm just sketching them. They're not like super perfect. I'm not doing like wow circle. Just
I just did one goofy head, and that's about it. What time is it? Oh, it's only 10:30. What the fuck?
yeah, it's early. I feel so tired already.
I mean, early. Yeah, yeah.
My
I
tummy
get you.
hurts too.
Why your tummy hurts?
Period.
What? Okay. So you became a baby during the night, and
Yeah.
your digestive system can't hold what you're eating, and that's what I understood.
I did eat really spicy noodle for dinner.
Spicy is good.
Yeah, I like it, but my tummy doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm used to this kind of thing.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
I don't eat spicy stuff super often because
yeah,
my family doesn't eat super spicy now. My dad got older and now his tolerance got weaker for some reason. My
yeah,
mom was never into spicy stuff.
that's weird. Because like, I mean, it's different. Like my parents always ate spicy, and then I've been in India, so like
You've been in.
for 5 weeks.
That's cool. I never tried Indian food.
It's nice.
Feel like usually whenever I rotate faces, I never think of the Z axis. I always think of the Y axis.
Yeah, I don't really have another way of doing it, but like, I don't think either way are bad, It's just that every artist is used. I feel like this way is harder as anime head because for drawing the chin as anime head is hard. I don't know.
You think so?
I don't know. It's just a feeling. Maybe it's just the way I draw. But I'm a background artist either way.
I don't know, I think it's pretty useful way.
Yeah, this is useful, but I don't know. I would use mostly the merges for sure.
The what?
But the merges, the measures are the
The
measurement. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Do you see though?
I'm mountain. I'm not even sure what the line for the chin does. I always forget it. I always forget to add it. Not sure what it does.
There's just 3 behind, like 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I remember. I have a good memory. But what I'm definitely gonna do, which will be probably tomorrow, I'll focus on the face shading. Yeah, because
What are you drawing now?
I'm drawing a half body for a birthday that is tomorrow.
Oh man. Good
But
luck.
I'm coloring right now. I just have a few accessories to add as a line art, but then it's mostly shading.
Okay.
But the hair are a pain because it's curly hair.
I see.
But I finished all the line art of curly hair, so there is that. I think that once the line art is done, it's easy. To be fair, hair is probably the easiest thing to draw for me.
I'm not sure what's the easiest thing for me to draw.
I mean, okay, the easiest is texture in general. I don't know. Like, it's definitely what I've been training on, like particular shapes. I don't know. Nature. I've trained nature. Grass. But yeah, as a body part, probably the hair.
One last one, and then I don't want to do it anymore. What should I face up or down?
Well, the vacuum started.
I'm gonna face down.
Oh wait, for once it's not a heart. What the fuck? This Lucy is mainly hurts everywhere.
Hearts everywhere.
Like it has like for the ties there is every time the how you say, I have no idea. The knot, the knot is every time it's a hurt everywhere. Wait, fuck. The heart is on the newer version. This is okay. The heart is the newer version. Okay, I'm not wrong. Also, I'm doing like the background commission. I'm doing like it's not really a commission. It's for Chi.
Okay.
And like she wants frills everywhere.
Oh man.
At least I have my details. At least she chose a bedroom, which is easier.
Like inside better or outside?
I prefer drawing outside, but inside is faster to art. I don't know. Definitely easier because there is all the straight lines and everything. The thing is, like outside, I will spend hours drawing nature stuff.
I think I actually do the opposite. Because wait. If it's like inside, it's like, oh, there's not that many things, so I'm gonna like
Detail.
Yeah, put more details in
anyway.
it. Yeah. For me, outside it's like, oh, it's like gets so far that you can't really see it well. So it's like those things don't really need that much detail.
But like, especially I'm doing a background, so either way I'm doing details. I can't not do details.
I'm gonna stop the recording because literally I'm not drawing anymore. Wow, bye people from YouTube bod. Bye.
Subscribe.
Man, these are so scuffed. I'm even ashamed of posting them. But if you're watching, I guess thank you.
Let's go.